What's up, YouTube? A couple years ago, I made the fake versus real AirPods video, and it got a lot more views than I expected, so I wanted to come back and make another one about AirPod Pros. So you can see I literally went to Target and spent $175 on the new pair of AirPod Pros. They were on sale, so cheaper than the $250 usual. And then for the fake ones, I went on Reddit and found the best reviewed pair of fake AirPods and ordered them online. So now that they're here, I want to compare both. I've already opened the fake ones because I was playing around with it, but the real ones are still sealed, so we got to get these opened. One caveat is that lots of different factories make fake AirPods, so it's not that every single one of these things I show you has to be wrong, but if you see any of these wrong, it's likely fake. And if you see things that are different than my real pair, that isn't always a problem either. Sometimes it's just made in a different country. So first we'll start off here. So we can look at the text on the box. You can see the left pair is real, the right pair is fake, and you can see the text is a little more blurry and a little more faded out. So I guess if you just look a little closer, the text is thinner on the real pair, and the fake one's got a little thicker text. On the back, we can see almost the same thing. I actually think the font looks pretty similar to each other on the back. I don't think the factory messed this one up, but I think you can see that the box isn't as flush, so there's that little gap between the cover and the bottom of the box. Just stack them on top of each other, you can see a little more clearly. The real one has just a tighter fitting box. So the three shapes are actually not in the same order between the real and the fake. The real one's up top. You can see it's the trash can first versus trash can last. And then one other thing you can see is that green dot, which is like the charging light. It's very vividly green on the real pair, and the fake pair, I guess their printers don't have as bright of ink or as good ink, and it's pretty dull. It looks almost gray. And then I'm just comparing the embossing of the print. Actually, both the real and the fake have the little protruding AirPods, so if you feel it with your finger, they feel the same. But if you flip up top and you start feeling the real one, you'll actually see the real pair doesn't have embossed text. It's just printed flat. But the fake pair has embossed text, so when you feel it with your finger, the real pair, you shouldn't feel any bumps or anything, but on the fake pair, you'll feel bumps. So this is a good way to tell if your box is fake or real. So let's get these opened up. As you look at the real pair, I think one of the easier things to tell is this printout designed by Apple in California packet. I don't think the factory spent that much time trying to make them look real, so it's a good way to easily tell what's different. So on the real pair, the text looks just like the same outside text that you've seen on the box, but on the fake pair, this text actually looks different. It doesn't look like the Apple text that's on the outside of the box. And if you put these two side by side, you can tell that the text does not look the same. So if you compare with your pair, you can pause here and look at what the font looks like. One looks like Apple font and one looks like something else that's kind of close. Also, the texture of the papers are different. One is glossy and one is matte. So the real one's matte, as you can see. The glossy one was shiny. Now we can get into the actual AirPods and see what's different about the two. So I brought up my scale again, and this is actually one of the biggest differences because it's not just looking at some random font. It's actually a difference in the product. So as you can see, the two AirPods actually weigh pretty similarly. The fake one weighs 58 grams, and I'm just going to open up the plastic wrapping so that the weight is accurate. But when you weigh the real one, it's also very similar. You see it's 57 grams, so maybe that could just be a normal error. I wouldn't look for the 1 gram difference. But the real difference is actually that the fake pair purposely tries to match the weight of the real one, but it's just done with fake weights as opposed to actual technology, like there's no extra batteries or anything. So here's what I mean. If you take out the actual small AirPods that go in your ear and you weigh them, the real ones weigh 11 grams, which is the weight of everything inside, including the batteries and stuff that keeps it running and all the technology. But I can already feel that these fake ones feel lighter, so when I put them on the scale, you'll see that they actually only weigh 8 grams. So it's a pretty big difference. There's 20% difference in weight. And I imagine this weight difference directly translates to how much battery time you're going to get on each charge with the AirPods because there's just less mass inside. And to get the same total weight of the AirPods plus the case, the fake AirPods case weighs 51 grams, but the real AirPods case is lighter and only weighs 46. So that's how, when you weigh them together, they still look the same weight. If you happen to own a kitchen scale like I do, this is a really easy way to tell if they're fake or real. I don't think any of the fake pairs have actually gotten the individual AirPods to weigh the same as the real AirPods because it's just harder for them to fit in the same amount of battery that Apple factories can fit in. So I'm just looking at the symbols on the inside of the AirPods case. That's the fake one. Now let's look at the real one. They basically just got the left and the right side flipped, but I'm not sure if that's a sign of fake or real, or if that's just because I have the MagSafe version and the fake pair is from the older version before MagSafe came out. And the FC and the CE symbols in my old video, I actually got this wrong. Neither of them make it fake. Those are real symbols. One is just for the US government body that controls things, and the European government body is called CE. So US pair should say FC. You look at the back, the text and the font here, once again, looks pretty bad. So on the real pair, the Designed by Apple in California text looks pretty thin, looks pretty crisp, looks pretty clean. Fake pair looks like when it was printed, it's got some extra ink bleeding off the edges. It's just thicker font. And I wouldn't worry about what country it says it was assembled in. Apple has many different factories, so either one could be real. That's not a good sign. But here's another good one. You can see that the flap is not as flush in the fake pair. There's a little bit of a gap in the gray. But the real pair, it's a lot more clean and it's a lot more flush. And the sound it makes is also a little different, more clicky. So now if we look at the actual AirPod buds, you're supposed to be able to take out these top earpieces and replace them with different size ear tips. And it's pretty easy to replace these things on the real pair. I'm just struggling because I'm using one hand and filming, but the fake pair was hard to actually take out. So on the real pair, it comes out pretty clean and there's no glue stains or anything kind of suspicious there. It just comes out, looks pretty clean. But if we try the same thing on my fake pair, I'm gonna go and grab the right AirPod as well to show you guys. So in this fake pair, you can see that there's some glue stains. It's not super clean. It's a little more gross looking. So that's just a sign that it wasn't really fully cleaned up by the factory's quality control, while the real pair was actually cleaned up. So now I'm going to pull out my iPad to try to show you guys what it looks like when you connect the AirPods to an Apple device. So the fakes are pretty good now. When you pop open the lid, you still get the Apple pop-up saying that they're AirPods, so that's not a sign if it's fake or real because the fake ones figured out how to do it. You can see the pop-up comes up here, and they're called fake AirPods Pro because I named them that. They won't actually say fake if you don't know if they're fake or real. So you can see the batteries jumping around, and this is one of the big issues I've always found with fake AirPods is that it doesn't get a good accurate battery reading. So this definitely won't happen on real pairs. Your battery percentages won't jump between 129 and 6%. You can see when I zoom in, these are just bouncing around. So now let's go get connected to them. And one other thing people usually think is that the fake pairs don't have the full settings menu, but actually you can see on my fake pair it does. You have the full ability to change between noise canceling. You can see all the data here. It doesn't just show up like a random Bluetooth headphone. It actually shows up as AirPods. And you can see I can click between transparency and noise cancellation. But I would say, you guys can't hear this obviously, but in my ears right now, I hear a little bit of ringing when I'm on the noise cancellation. And it disappears when I switch to off, but clearly that's a problem. So now let me just grab the real pairs. I'm sure you guys know what AirPods look like when you try to connect them, but these are new, so I'm just gonna go through the connection process, and then I just wanna test out the sound to see if it sounds any different or worse. So this is the typical connection process. The fake pairs also are able to give this pop-up menu when you do connection for the first time, so that's not a good sign, but here we are, we're connected now. So go into the settings menu, I'll put them in my ears. So now things actually sound a lot better in my ears. I know you guys can't hear it, but the noise cancellation actually cancels the noise. There's no ringing noise. And the transparency lets in all the sound from outside. There's no problem. So again, noise cancellation once again, no ringing. So that's clearly the fakes just don't sound as good, and the noise cancellation was way worse on the fake AirPods because even though they were blocking out some noise, they had some weird ringing sound to it. Okay, and the last thing I want to show is that in my last AirPods video, a lot of people said just check the serial number, and if you go on the Apple website and it shows that that's a real serial number, then it means that they're real. I just want to prove to you guys this is actually not true. So you can see this is the serial number for my fake pair. I'm typing the CAPTCHA in live, and the Apple website literally says that they're real. So definitely don't listen to people who say just check the serial number, especially if you're talking to some seller online who says no, my pairs are real because of the serial number. This is a really common tactic to use to scam because the factory's already figured out how to use real serial numbers. So hopefully this helped you guys figure out if your pair is real or fake. Please don't get scammed. There's a lot of fake pairs out there. If you figure out anything that's wrong with my video, please comment it below so everyone else can learn as well. And if this was helpful, please like and subscribe.